MAC address is the physical address in Ethernet network. Let's learn more about it in this lesson. In this lesson, we'll learn about the following topics. First, we start off with MAC address introduction, then MAC address format. After that, we will learn about all types of MAC addresses. Finally, we will sum up our lesson with the keynotes. As you may know, MAC address stands for Media Access Control Address. It is 6 byte long or 48-bit long binary number. Most computers list MAC addresses as 12-digit hexadecimal numbers, like this. MAC address has many different names, like LAN address, Ethernet address, hardware address, burn-in address, physical address, and universal address. Cisco devices typically add a period between every 4 digits for easier readability. So this MAC address will be written like this in a Cisco device. Let's now go into detail about MAC address format. As you may know, MAC address is managed by IEEE. It has 6 bytes. The first 3 bytes is called Organizational Unique Identifier or OUI. OUI is assigned by IEEE to manufacturers. You now can figure out that by looking up the first 3 bytes of a MAC address, you can find out the manufacturer of the network card. The last 3 bytes is Network Interface Controller Specific. It is assigned by a manufacturer to the network card. The special thing about the first byte of the MAC address, if bit B0 is set to 0, it is a unicast address, and if it's set to 1, then it is a multicast address. For bit B1, if it is set to 0, it means it is globally unique, or it assigned by a manufacturer to the network card. However, if it switched to 1, it means it is locally administered, or it is set by a network administrator like us, which overrides the setting of the manufacturer. There are 3 types of MAC addresses: unicast address, multicast address, and broadcast address. Let's now talk about the unicast address. Unicast address has the least significant bit, or bit B0 of the first octet of an address is set to 0. The frame is unicast means it represents only one interface to the Ethernet LAN. You now can figure out that the MAC address of the source machine is always unicast. Let's talk about multicast address. Multicast MAC address has the least significant bit of the first octet of an address is set to 1. IEEE has allocated this address block for group addresses. Here is how it works. Computers must join to a multicast group represented by a multicast address. For example, these 2 computers has joined to a group represented by this multicast MAC address. Frames sent to a multicast MAC address will be copied and forwarded to all devices belong to the multicast group. For example, this computer now sends frames to this multicast MAC address. The frame will be copied and forwarded to all computers in the group. Let's now move on to broadcast address. Broadcast MAC address has value of all apps, which all bits are set to 1. Frames sent to the broadcast MAC address will be delivered to all devices on the Ethernet LAN. Let's read the keynotes to finish this lesson.